What is up, fellas, and welcome to another episode of PolitiGoob. If I'm not shadow banned yet, I certainly will be after this stream. Before I get into the really heavy shit, I just wanted to laugh about the BAFTAs a little bit. I'm sure all of you are aware of the BAFTA situation where the Tourette's guy said the N-word, and Black people have been having an absolute chimp out since. And it's very funny to watch all these leftists being confronted with the very blatant reality of just how retarded and angry and hateful towards white people Blacks are. So that's been good fun. If you're somehow unaware of it, go hop on Twitter or something and check out these interactions. Search BAFTA, Tourette's, N-word. It's been pretty funny. And I'm going to be covering a lot of very serious, very heavy topics tonight because, I've said a few times now, like, I don't know what you guys don't know. And it's truly baffling to me with what I do know, how everyone is not incredibly motivated to fight to take back this country. And so I have to assume that you guys don't know what's going on. So I'm going to be showing you what is actually happening in this country and around the world and just how horrific it truly is. But honestly, it should be pretty unnecessary if you watched the State of the Union last night, right? If you haven't, there was some pretty interesting, entertaining moments in there. You have to actually watch it because you have to see like who's standing and who's not. Some wild moments. That is what the screenshot, or that is what my thumbnail is for this video, right? Is all of the Democrats sitting, which of the 100 tabs I've got pulled open, I think I forgot to pull that one open. But you can go watch that clip where Trump says, hey, if you agree with this, stand with me. America is for putting American citizens first, not illegal immigrants. And all of the Republicans stood and clapped, and all of the Democrats stayed seated looking salty. They are openly endorsing in unison, all of them, every single one of them, that they support illegal invaders, third world invaders over American citizens. They hate you and they want you dead. I have been talking about how they hate you and they want you dead. And I think a lot of people have a hard time accepting that. Couldn't be any more obvious after the State of the Union that they truly do hate you and want you dead. So now that the lighthearted stuff is out of the way, let's get into some things here. We're going to start over with England a little bit. Let me pull up my screen here for you, fellas. I think it's this one. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, you can see that. Good. Got to make sure I got my screen right. Okay. So, the total number of rapes recorded in the United Kingdom, 2002 to 2024. It starts, and again, keep in mind, this is recorded rapes. And as we, go through these stories, you're going to start seeing that this only makes up a small fraction of the actual rapes that are happening. But in 2002, it was 13,000. And we see it gradually climbing 14, 15, 15, 15, 14, 14, 16. It's some fluctuations here, but it's starting to go up slowly. And then from 2008 to 2009, goes up over 1,000, goes up another 1,000 the next year, 2010, 17, 18. Oh, here we go. 2012 to 2013, a jump of 5,000. Next year, a jump of 8,000. We're up to 38,000 by 2015. More than double, almost triple what they were in 2003. 38,000, 44,000, 58,000, 63,000. A bit of a good year in 2019. Only 62,000 rapes reported. Again, 58,000, 73,000, 72,000, 71,000, 75,000. So one, this is showing you just how rapidly this problem is getting worse. It's showing you also that, this isn't new. This isn't new. This started at least back in 2013, this increase in rapes. What's going on in England leading to all these rapes? It is the invasion of the third world. It is the invasion of Muslims and third worlders. This is the same trend that we see across all white European nations. And while London is like a little bit worse, they're a little bit ahead of most of these other places. They're a little bit ahead of America. That's rapidly coming here. And London is still just in the beginning stages of this. London is still just beginning to experience the horrors of the Muslim rape gangs. They are not far off from having just straight up Muslim government with Sharia law. And then these numbers are going to explode to truly, truly unimaginable levels, but they already are. We went from 13,536 to 75,782 in 20 years. And again, those are only the recorded ones, which you're going to start seeing some patterns and realize that only makes up a small fraction. Here we go. A 13-year-old was reportedly found nearly naked and drunk with 7 random Pakistani men. You are still seeing the right screen? Yep, cool. A neighbor heard screams in central London and reported it. Police then arrested the 13-year-old, but didn't arrest the men. And this is, again, normal now in London. This is how it works. The police actively protect the rapists, partially because the police are participating in the rape. And they arrest the victims. She was found naked and drunk with 7 Pakistani men, a 13-year-old. She's the one arrested. The Muslims are protected. Imagine this. Your 12-year-old daughter was repeatedly raped yesterday by 4 men of color. You go with her to the police and file a report. The officers refuse to accept the complaint. In desperation, you describe what happened on social media. 2 days later, the police come to your home, arrest you, put you in prison. A judge sentences you to an unconditional prison term. You're not getting 6 months. You're going away forever, buddy. If you dare talk about what happened to your daughter. The perpetrators are left undisturbed. In Parliament, this approach is approved by a large majority because they do not want to appear Islamophobic. This has happened hundreds of times in Great Britain, and just a few days ago, the House of Commons in London decided exactly that. And, I just want to make the point again here that, do you remember how popular accelerationism was 10 years ago? Everyone was like, dude, things gotta get worse. We gotta give our enemy more power and more control and allow them to become more entrenched, because then once it gets bad enough, everyone will rise up in unison and will take back this country. Do you remember how popular that idea used to be? It's starting to die out a little bit, but there were so many campaigns all aimed at the right. There was accelerationism. You win by letting your enemy win. There was QAnon, sit back and trust the plan. Just don't do anything. You win by doing nothing. There was the glowies, right? Any right-wing organization, anyone doing anything politically active on the right, they're obviously feds. Fuck those feds. Everything has been designed to keep you placid and inactive. Because the reality is, once things get this bad, once you become like London, you can't fight back. Your daughter gets raped, gang raped. 12-year-old daughter gets gang raped. You go to the police, and you're lucky if they ignore you. You're lucky if they refuse to accept the complaint. You're lucky if you don't go to jail. But if you talk about it publicly, you certainly will. They protect the rapists. They punish you and the victims. And this is You think you're going to be more likely to stand up? Like you're going to fight back now when you can't organize, you can't do anything. You don't win by doing nothing. The Rape Gang Inquiry. This is a page that has, I don't know how many posts, hundreds at minimum. And it's all just stuff like this. Mother of rape gang survivor. I heard the police officer's radio go, and I heard them say that it sounds like a black woman here, but regardless, I heard the police officer's radio go, and I heard them say that they was taking my daughter to Muhammad's brother's address. I begged them not to take her there. I was like, they're the people that are doing this to her. You cannot take her there. They're going to kill her, because I did believe they was going to, and they didn't listen to me. They did take her there. And like I said, she was abused there by them, by Muhammad. I don't know if this is a quote from another story posted by them, like if it's the same story or completely different stories. But yeah, there's another one here where they talk about how this girl was missing. There's a missing child. The missing child is found, and rather than the police returning the missing child to her mother, they return her to the men who are raping her. Again, I don't even know if this is the same story, or because this kind of shit is just normal now. This is how it works in London. This is where we're rapidly heading, and where we largely already are today. We'll get into that. Statement from the Rape Gang Inquiry. I'm a little heated. It's getting, I'm having even more trouble reading than normal. Our inquiry, that's also a difficult word. Our inquiry panel has heard extensive and deeply distressing testimony from a survivor detailing prolonged and extreme abuse, exploitation, and trafficking, beginning in childhood and continuing over a number of years across multiple locations in the United Kingdom. The panel wishes to place on record that we regard this testimony with the utmost seriousness. The survivor has provided detailed, consistent, and specific evidence over an extended period of engagement with our inquiry. She will remain anonymous, and she is safe. She has made it abundantly clear that she wants the country to know her story. This is her decision and her decision alone. Elements of her account have been independently corroborated through presented documentation and vast evidence. And this is significant, the bravery of this poor young girl, because not only does she face threats from the police, she faces threats from Muslims, she faces threats from leftists. Not only do the Muslims want her dead, the leftists want her dead for, speaking the truth about these Muslims. The police want her arrested. The government wants her silenced. So this is incredible bravery here. The panel is also aware of additional material and supporting information that strengthens the credibility of the survivor's account and warrants urgent and comprehensive investigation by the relevant statutory authorities. Given the gravity of the allegations, we have thought long and hard about whether to release the following information. We believe, as does she, that the public deserves to know the truth about the rape gangs. The survivor's violent gang rape and abuse began at the age of 12. 12. I've already listed multiple other stories involving 12-year-olds, but just let that sink in. We're talking about massive, organized, government-defended and facilitated gang rapes of 12-year-old white girls. Thousands and thousands and thousands of them. She was raped multiple times per day over many years. The rapes were filmed and were used as blackmail. The survivor has stated that multiple police officers were active perpetrators. Multiple police officers were active perpetrators. Why are these police protecting these rape gangs? Because they're a part of them. Money was exchanged openly, and this destroyed her ability and her willingness to seek help. Police vehicles were used to traffic her, and some of the abuse events were called cop nights. The extreme pain she suffered included filmed tortures in places called red rooms. The torture included waterboarding and strangulation by rope. Distressingly, she was raped by a dog, filmed and forced to rewatch the footage as the men placed bets. The coordination of this specific type of abuse was predominantly perpetrated by Pakistani heritage men. During this specific period of abuse, She witnessed the murder of at least 3 girls, one of whom was allegedly killed as a punishment for speaking to the police force. Again, incredible bravery on the part of this girl. Agencies made a number of referrals to the National Referral Mechanism. She received positive grounds in 2018, but was not made aware of this status until 2021. She finally received conclusive grounds in 2023. The survivor is understandably wary of reporting the matter to the police, so the panel is seeking an urgent meeting with the Home Secretary, including the survivor, sure the government is fully apprised of the seriousness of this evidence. Trust me, the government knows they are facilitating this, but regardless. And to discuss the immediate steps required to ensure the survivor's protection, to preserve evidence, and to secure justice. Our overriding priority is the safety of survivors and the pursuit of truth and justice without fear or favor. We believe, along with the survivor herself, that the British people deserve to finally know what has been inflicted on innocent young girls in British towns and cities for many decades. And that last line is particularly important. Again, this is not new. This has been happening. I don't know for how many of you this is new information. This isn't new. This has been happening for a long time. And it's happening here in America as well. All of these problems, and they're not new. We're gonna shift over to America in a little bit, but I just want to show you just how bad things are in London already. And we are rapidly heading towards that again. It's already happening here, but the acceleration in all of these places is off the charts. It's exponential. Wait, is it true that Keir Starmer issued warning letters to child rapists instead of prosecuting them while working as a prosecutor? Yes, it is true. And he worked as a prosecutor from, I think, 2003 to 2008. So this was 15, 20 years ago. Keir Starmer used to be a prosecutor, gave him warning letters. Now you have people like Jay Jones in America who openly want to kill white children so they don't grow up to be Nazis, being the DA of Virginia. This stuff is happening here. It's been happening for a long time. These things aren't new. How many of you knew about this? How many of you knew it was happening now? How many of you knew it was happening 10 years ago? Even if you didn't know 10 years ago, did you at least know now that it was happening 10 years ago? Is this why you guys are not driven to action, because you just don't know what's happening? Because if you do know these things are happening, how could you possibly ever think that the right course of action is to just keep your head down and keep getting by for a little bit longer and then waiting until your child is the one who's raped? I can't fathom anyone thinking like that. 3 men protesting against the rape of a young white British girl have been jailed for doing so, for speaking out to protect her and other girls in Epping. However, the illegal foreigner who raped the girl got less time, and also he is here illegally. This is normal. This is standard operating procedure. If you speak about the rape, you go to jail. If you do the rape, this guy actually went to jail. That's actually kind of rare over there. But you get less time than you get for speaking about it. Pretty insane. Auckland pack rape trial. German backpacker sobs as defense questions consent. So a German vacations in New Zealand, gets gang raped, and the courts and the defense, their tactic is to go, are you sure you didn't want it? Pretty sure you wanted it. Pretty sure you were asking for it. What were you wearing? Pretty sure you want. Are you sure you didn't want to be gang raped? Are you sure you didn't travel to New Zealand because you wanted to get gang raped? I'm pretty sure you came to New Zealand on vacation because you were looking to get gang raped. Can you imagine the trauma? I know that word has been co-opted by leftists and it's a little icky now, but genuinely, can you even begin to fathom the trauma of getting gang raped and then having the court sit there and try and blame you for it? That's what's happening. Look, this is the rape gang inquiry. Just post after post after post after post. Notice that there's not a single fact check on any of these. Not one fact check. Just post after post after post after post after post after post after post. Rape, 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 rape. This is what's happening in London right now and has been for a very long time. This one is a girl. When was this? This was 2006. Holy hell, I didn't even realize this was that old. So a girl arrested in racism inquiry. A 14-year-old girl, again, this has been going on a long time. 2006, 20 years ago. 14-year-old girl has been arrested for allegedly making racist remarks at a school in Greater Manchester. Basically, she gets put in a group with, I think, like 4 or 5 other girls. Only one of them speaks English. 5 Asian pupils, Pakistani, Muslims, right? So she goes to the teacher and she goes, I can't understand them. The teacher immediately goes, how horrifically racist of you. And she is arrested. She is arrested because in her school in England, she's in a school full of Muslims that don't speak English. She's put on a group project with a bunch of Muslims that don't speak English. And she says, teacher, I can't understand them. She gets arrested. 14-year-old girl. 20 years ago. But hey, everything's fine. Just keep your head down. You win by doing nothing, guys. You win by doing nothing. Don't bully the troons. Don't get politically active. Don't protest. Don't hide your opinions. Don't display your patriotism. Don't let anyone know you're a conservative. That's how you win, guys. Condemn anyone who does get active because they're a Fed. They're really working against the right. Anyone who actually protests or does anything, they're working against the right. You better condemn them, those fucking Fed pieces of shit. That's how you win, guys. Remember that. Quick video. Let's get some ball. Do you see that? He's having some bants. He's a footballer. He's having some fun little bants, and he yells "Yid Army" at the other team. And immediately, I mean, literally not even a second later, he gets arrested. The cop says to the other one, if you couldn't hear it, he's like, can you nick him? I mean, can you arrest and put this guy in jail? He said, "Yid Army, that's illegal. Anti-Semitism." And that guy's now arrested and in jail. This is what's going on in the UK. Again, do you think waiting until we're at this point is how we win? You think that's when everyone's going to stand up in unison and fight back? When you get immediately arrested for saying perceived offensive remarks. Don't criticize the Jews, don't criticize the Muslims, don't criticize the Backs, don't criticize the fags, or else you'll go to jail. And again, when I was living in Washington State, it was illegal to utter words that someone might take to be offensive in Seattle. You could get arrested. This was 6-7 years ago. Arrested for this kind of stuff here in America, in Seattle. It's been happening for a long time. We're so much worse than people realize. Get your head out of your ass. Wake the fuck up. Let's watch another video. This is, now we're shifting towards America a little bit. Okay, if you guys are tired of England, don't worry. We're getting the American content. Here we go. Here it is. Okay, you get the point. Yeah, openly being racist, doesn't care. This is how the leftists work. Like, I don't think I've spent way too much time, and I don't anymore. I stopped a while back, right? But I used to. I grew up. I used to spend a lot of time interacting. I'm fucking autistic, guys, right? I'm not normal. So I would have conversations. Like most people avoid deep conversations, things that might be offensive or like unsettling. It's like I never had that instinct. I wanted to understand the people around me. So I would like dig into this shit deep, and I would have insane long conversations with the people around me, and I've come to understand how these people work. This is how they work. Does not care that they're going after a child rapist. She does not care. She actively wants to protect and defend the child rapist. She is openly being racist, does not care about openly being racist, despite like her whole thing being like, you guys are racist for going after the child rapist. It's a fucking quagmire inside of their heads. But it's quite difficult to actually explain how their brains work because it's alien. It's completely alien and foreign to what a normal sane person thinks. And so I think most people have no idea how these people truly operate. And we'll get into that a bit more at the end of this video. But just the most horrific, evil people you can possibly imagine. And I keep making the statements. They want you dead. The majority of blacks, Muslims, Jews, and leftists want you dead. And I think a lot of people have a really hard time accepting that. One, it is a brutal, brutal truth to try and swallow. But also, so many people are like, no, 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 no. Like their intentions are good. They're just misinformed. They're stupid, but their intentions are good. No, they're not. No, they're not. These are the most disgusting, evil people you can possibly imagine. And even if their intentions are good, I go back to the dude shooting up the kid's cancer ward because he's schizophrenic and he believes that his bullets cure cancer. He's shooting those kids in the face to save them. His intentions are good. It doesn't fucking matter. You eliminate that person immediately. You cannot tolerate that in society. Doesn't matter what the intentions are. They are creating a world in which you and your children will be raped and murdered, and your graves will be danced on. And if you complain about it, you'll be thrown in prison along with a bunch of other Muslims who will murder you there because the whole fucking system wants you dead. You're going to get stuck in a room with a bunch of fucking Pakistanis and they're going to stab you to death. And then you'll be blamed for it. This is the reality we're living in. Wake the fuck up. In English Farmer, we're getting into a little bit of two-tier justice system here, which we've already been discussing, but mostly rape focused. An English farmer independently detained two men who were stealing on his land. He tied them to his quad bike and took them to the nearest police station. The British police arrested the farmer himself, charging him with unlawful imprisonment and assault. And I can only assume the other two were released or, got a little slap on the wrist. He will undoubtedly be spending more time than these fucking brown invaders will raping. And here, this is just to show you that, because we're talking about England so much, this stuff isn't new in America either. This horrific nigger raped a young girl, cut her hands off, and threw her off a cliff to die. And he was sentenced to 8 years in prison. And this is after a whole rap sheet of rape, kidnapping, mayhem, attempted murder, child pornography, theft. And when was this happening? In 1978. He raped this poor 15-year-old girl who miraculously survived this. She had her hands cut off. She was thrown off a cliff, left to die. She climbed back up the cliff without her hands, completely naked, got some help, and managed to live. Absolutely. She's a fucking survivor. But this was happening in 1978. Even with all that rap sheet, even with what I just described to you, 8 years. 8 years. This isn't new. These things have been going on for a long time. And I'm going to tell you a little story about when I was in high school. When I was in high school, I don't remember what year exactly, but this is at least 15 years ago. I saw someone, I was living in North Carolina, and I wasn't like in this area, but it was in North Carolina. Someone else who was even more local saw this story because it wasn't reported on any major news. Certainly, I think there's like one little snippet on a very, very small local news station posted the story to 4chan of this guy who murdered. So he tried to carjack a retired police chief's truck, right? And when he was unable to do so, he shot and killed the retired fire chief. This was recorded on video. He confessed to this murder to the police, and he was released. Zero convictions, zero jail time, walked fully free, scot-free. I spent much of the next year making FOIA requests, making daily posts on social media and around the internet, trying to spread awareness of this, talking to literally everyone around me about this story, showing it to them. I had written up, all kinds of different like summaries. I had images and stuff. My FOIA requests were denied. I tried requesting the confession and stuff. I was in high school. I didn't really know what I was doing. And no one cared. Like, people would be like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then they'd just move on. They didn't give a fuck. And I'm like, no. I dug into the lawyer's history, his prior cases. He had a pattern of representing the most horrific Black criminals and getting them off scot-free. I was posting his information online. I was doing what I could. But again, I was in high school. I was kind of stupid. But it really was. So yeah, by the way, to all the people who are like, you were radicalized by Charlie. No, this is who I've been my entire fucking life. But it's the same thing now. You can expose people to these insane truths, this insane reality. They go, wow, that's awful. Like, nothing's clicking up here. They're just like, oh, that's awful. Can't believe that happened. Let me go back about my day. No. This stuff has been happening for a long time. It's only getting worse. You're only going to see so much more of this happening. You cannot imagine the horrors that are to come. Let's continue. Just barely scratching the surface here. Okay, yeah. So although the man who, this is a little bit, let me go down to here first. So my name is Hamit Koskin, and last year I was convicted in a British court of religiously aggravated public order offense. My crime, burning a copy of the Quran outside the Turkish consulate in London. Moments later, I was attacked in full view of the street by a man. I was hospitalized. Then I was arrested and convicted. He wasn't just attacked, he was stabbed, right? Then I was arrested and convicted in Westminster Magistrates Court. I managed to get that conviction overturned with the help of the Free Speech Union and the National Secular Society, but now the Crown Prosecution Service is appealing my acquittal, with the case being heard tomorrow in the High Court. Now I'm in discussions with the White House about claiming asylum in America in case the decision goes against me. So this guy burns a Quran. He gets stabbed. Although the man who assaulted me was prosecuted separately, he was spared jail despite shouting, "I'm going to kill you," as he attacked me with a knife. The Crown Prosecution Service says his actions helped to prove my guilt. The Crown Prosecution Service says his actions helped to prove my guilt. Does this story ring any bells? Does this sound a little familiar to something that recently happened in America? The guy who got stabbed and then called the guy nigger, and then the guy, the courts and the jury basically go, well, you deserved it. You deserved it because You called him a nigger after getting stabbed, right? The fact that this guy stabbed the guy proves how guilty the guy was. I've talked about this before. It's like with the BLM. A normie mind looks at BLM and they go, well, why are these people so angry? They're burning down cities. They wouldn't be so angry if there wasn't a good reason. So the fact that they're burning down cities means that those cities deserve it, like means that they're justified. This is how the normie mind works. And I'm going to talk about this more at the end. And I've talked about this extensively in the previous episodes, but it's the fact that like you have to start, you can't continue hiding your ideas. You have to be loud and boisterous and aggressive with your ideas, because the normie mind works on power dynamics. He got stabbed and that proves his guilt. They understand force. Let me pull up a different screen here. Give me a moment, fellas, as I swap screens. I hate it when this happens. There's no way to fix it. Whatever. I will just, my stream is now for ants on my side, but that's fine. Give me a moment, fellas. I can't even really see what I'm doing now, but we'll get it figured out. I think it's this one. Yeah, this one. Okay, you guys can see. Good to go. All right, shocking scene in New York City. Thousands of New Yorkers left terrified as a huge Muslim gathering declares they've seized control of the city. Crowd erupts in Allahu Akbar chants. New York City has been conquered. The beating heart of America. So yeah, if you're listening to all that British shit and you're like, it couldn't happen here, that's not going to happen here. Remember, we've got the guns, and one day after they do completely dominate our legal system and every single other aspect of the country, and they have complete and total control because we've allowed them to entrench themselves deeper and deeper for years and years and years, and we condemned anyone on the right who actually resisted this, and we said, please, God, please just don't do anything if you're on the right. The way we win is by doing nothing. Suddenly, everyone's going to rise up. There's this fucking weird dichotomy in the right where they're like, we have to do nothing. We win by doing nothing. And then one day we'll all rise up in unison and just mass slaughter them because we have the guns. They can't possibly do anything. It's this fucking retarded delusion. Get your head out of your ass. Understand that people operate, they are sheep. They are followers. They operate on power dynamics. Staying silent does not help. It is the worst possible thing you can do. Get active, get loud, start fighting back now, because this shit is happening now and it will only get worse. What is happening in London is already happening here, and it will just escalate further and further and further until we are as bad as London and even worse. This tab is in the slightly wrong spot. But hey, we'll come here first. So Somali community in Minnesota demanding reparations over ICE trauma. Let's listen to this dumb, retarded fucking bitch. Okay. You can't understand a fucking word this retarded cunt is saying because she's a fucking third world retard piece of shit, right? And this tab right here, okay, so all of those Somalis, I don't know, I air quoted Somalis, that was the wrong air quote, but all of these legal Somalis is what I meant to air quote. They got their legal status. 1 million fucking Somalis come over, 1 million fucking rapist third worlders come over, and they are now legal because they downloaded an app. I don't know if you guys knew about this at the time. I don't know if you guys remember this, but that is how they come into the country and they download an app, and now they are here legally. So, like, we need to do a lot more than just fucking exterminate the illegal invaders in this country. These are illegal invaders as well. They are not fucking, they're not citizens, but they're here legally, right, under asylum, because they downloaded an app. There's no hyperbole here either. That was it. You come into the country, you download an app, and now you're here legally, and you get all of the free shit. You get, 15 grand a month in cash. You get free food, you get free housing, you get et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is how this worked. 1 million fucking Somalis brought into the country, download an app, immediate legal status granted, no hoops to jump through, no anything. Just get here and download the app, and you're here for good. And now, there's no easy path to remove these people because now they're here legally and receiving extensive amounts of welfare. Not only all the fraud, not only are they stealing billions and billions and billions, trillions of dollars from you. This isn't like an abstract idea. This retarded fucking bitch right here is stealing from you, and they're demanding more free cash grants to immigrant businesses under 200K. Stop all evictions plus free rent. Reparations for ICE trauma, government apology and accountability, ICE ban from their neighborhood, justice for the martyrs. When I say they are stealing from your pockets, like, this isn't some abstract idea. We are talking about billions of fucking dollars. These Somalis are driving luxury cars. They're driving Bentleys and shit, living in houses nicer than you, collecting fraud, scam money, collecting just straight up cash from the government for being a fucking poor Somali, collecting the standard welfare like food stamps and etc. And they're demanding even more. They came into this country and they downloaded an app, and now they go, you're on stolen fucking land. You need to get the fuck out of here, white people, and you need to give us all of your shit. You should be frothing at the fucking mouth. This isn't some abstract theft going on here. This is very real, very practical, very tangible. How has your quality of life gone over the last 10 years? Is it getting better? Are the quality of lives of the white people around you getting better? Are you taking in millions of dollars a year without doing any work? Are you getting free food and free housing, etc.? Because they are. You should be frothing at the fucking mouth. You should want to kill them in the same way that a home invader who wants to steal your shit in a literal physical way, you would kill. Like, are you going to let that person into your house to just take your shit? Because that's what you're doing. That is what is happening. We don't need to watch the video. But yeah, killed a kid, a little baby boy. 0 days in jail. 0 days in jail. Killed a little baby boy. 29-year-old killed in Charlotte. Suspect is Sanchez Nicholson. 33 prior arrests and multiple attempted murders. Look at that rap sheet. And, he'll probably get found incompetent. By the way, if you guys don't understand how being found mentally incompetent to stand trial or being found insane works, a lot of people don't understand how it works. First of all, it means that no conviction happens. So you're not getting convicted of any crime. It also means that no sentencing happens. So when you get found insane or incompetent to stand trial, you go to a mental hospital, and there is absolutely zero legal requirement for a minimum time for them to hold you there other than 72 hours. You are submitted not under your own will, and so they have to hold you for 72 hours before they're allowed to release you. And people like this are getting found mentally incompetent, they don't understand their actions, so they can't be held liable for them. So we need to release them back onto the streets, or they're just insane. They're so insane that they don't understand, that what they're doing is wrong. So we need to release them back on the streets. So they go get sent to a mental hospital, which has no obligation to hold these people. Think of social workers and nurses and stuff and how radically left-wing they are. You think that there's not entire institutions, entire hospitals that are entirely staffed with radically left-wing individuals? There's a lot of them. And they get people like this and they release them very quickly, couple months, couple years. And then they're back on the street and they murder again. How do you even achieve a rap sheet this long? Multiple attempted murders. And again, if you remember, this has been happening all the way, 1978, that first case we looked at. Would Ethan Liming have gotten 6 months in prison for murdering Deshaun? White supremacy rears its ugly head once again. Brothers who killed Ethan Liming stomped on his chest, broke his neck, and took his car at LeBron James School, sentenced only 6 months and 18 months each. Even when they are convicted, even when they're not found mentally incompetent or mentally insane, they get a year on average. 1 year. You kill a nice white teenager, 1 year. Keep doing nothing, fellas. It's how we win. Keep your head down even further. Don't stand up for what's right. Just shut the fuck up and do nothing, because that's how we win. Remember that, fellas. Alexander Lamar Banks Jr. was arrested in Michigan after he reportedly ran down white family with his car, killing the couple's 3-year-old daughter. Court documents of the incident describe how Banks then got out of the car with a shotgun and shot the parents. He also brutally assaulted a 72-year-old woman who showed up at the scene. The mother and father are currently in the hospital in stable condition. The 72-year-old woman is currently in critical condition. No news coverage of this. Randomly assassinates a family and a random woman who happened to be there. Probably will be found criminally insane, mentally insane, or incompetent. If not, he'll get a year for each person he shot. He'll go to jail for maybe 4 years, and then he'll be back out on the streets to do it again. This is what's happening in America now. And again, it gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse, fellas. Soon, they'll be killing you, and you'll go to jail if you post about it, if you talk about it, if you complain about it. Well, they just immediately walk free. They won't even have the trial. Let's just go, hey, buddy, good shot. Kind of like what's happening in London. Today is the third anniversary of the open carry snatch murder of Brian Dykes, 41, at Decatur, Georgia, Dunkin' Donuts. Lamarian, or 17, was charged with grabbing his holstered gun and murdered with him. 3 years later, he's free. And remember, 15 years ago, the story that I told about murdering the retired fire chief, 0 time. 0 time. You think stories like that are happening more frequently now than they were 15 years ago? They are. You think that next year there will be even more stories like that and even more ridiculous stories? Or you think this is going to get better? You think the left is going to start controlling themselves and policing themselves and going, hey, we let this get out of control? Or you think we're going to keep rapidly spiraling towards where England is, and this will just keep getting worse unless you do nothing and keep your head down and keep your mouth shut, right? Because that's how we win, fellas. Remember, that's how you win. Do nothing. Condemn anyone else who does anything on the right. You fucking pathetic fucks. I truly don't understand how anyone can see this shit, how anyone can know this shit is happening and go, you know what? I don't want to lose my job. I just want to try and get by a little bit longer before they come to my door and chop my head off. God forbid I actually stand up for what's right. God forbid I actually take any action ever. I truly don't understand how anyone could be that pathetic. If you know what this country has become and is becoming, how are you not filled with murderous rage and wanting to... How can you possibly have the mentality, the idea of just keep your head down, Just keep your job. You don't want to get fired. Don't want to go to jail for criticizing the niggers or the faggots or the troons. Or I can't fathom it. I just truly can't fathom it. Why was this criminal released 4 days ago after being in jail for only 1 month? I emphasized the wrong part. 1 month. Why was he released after going to jail for 1 month? A fucking retarded nigger tried to kill, a third world invader, tried to slit the throat of a 13-year-old randomly on the street. Went to jail for a month. You thought I was like exaggerating, going, oh yeah, these people, they go to jail for like a few months. 1 month for trying to kill this kid randomly, tried to slit his throat. 1 month and he's out walking around. By the way, Irina Zarutska's murderer, I'm fairly confident, someone can fact check me on this, but last I saw, I believe he was being found mentally incompetent to stand trial or was being found insane, and so was going to a mental hospital. Someone should pay attention to that, because if that is the case, if he's not going to trial, which I believe is the case, how many bets? What are your bets on how long until he's back on the street, if he's not already? Won't be long if it hasn't already happened. Executed a father in front of his children, but he's illegal, so the liberals won't convict him. Genuinely, what the fuck do we do at this point? Genuinely, what the fuck do we do at this point? Tren de Aragua, he kidnapped a man and his children and then executed him in front of them. There is no debate over whether this happened. There's no question over whether he did this. It is fully established that this is what happened. And I believe this is the second mistrial. So they tried to convict him. The jury goes, no, we refuse. We're not going to put this guy in jail. We're not going to find him guilty. So they retrial, and the same thing happens again. When I say that they want you dead, when I say that the niggers, the kikes, the sand niggers, the fucking commies, they all want you dead, the majority of them want you dead, I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not just saying it to say it. It's the reality. And they will do anything and everything in their power to make it so. This isn't an abstract idea of like, oh, I kind of want it, but no, they are actively and aggressively trying to create a world in which that will be the reality for you and your children, and then they'll dance on your graves and blame you for it. 43-year-old anti-ICE mommy arrested for stealing an ambulance, loading it up with gas cans, and driving it into a DHS office in Idaho, an act of domestic terror to kill ICE. So you have 43-year-old mothers, liberal fat white bitches, who are willing to do this, but you talk to someone on the right and they go, hey, buddy, just don't ever express your opinions. Don't ever protest. Don't ever, do anything at all, ever. Just stay silent. Keep your head down. Who's going to win that war? The people who openly want you dead and are willing to take extreme action in order to make it so, or the people who go, you know what, we win by just doing nothing, and we lose if we kill our enemies. This chart shows that every other racial group, when they are on a jury, they refuse to find guilty people of their own race guilty. And yet white people don't. You actually see white people are more likely to convict whites than other people of color. Because again, this is a white genocide and they want you dead. It's pretty straight fucking forward. I really like anyone who is watching what I am putting here and is still like, yeah, maybe I don't think it's that bad. Like, what the fuck's going on in your brain? Do you understand that everything I've been saying, it's not an exaggeration. It's not abstract. This is the brutal reality that we are living in. And our reality will only get exponentially more brutal as long as we continue to be passive. Why leftists keep assaulting ICE agents despite getting arrested. Per Grok, of the hundreds of ICE assaults, only 166 protesters have been charged with crimes since May 2025. 66 were charged with minor misdemeanors. Of the 100 individuals initially charged with felony assaults on federal agents, 55 of those felony charges were reduced to misdemeanors or dismissed outright. At least 23 individuals pleaded guilty, mostly to reduced charges, resulting in little or no jail time. All 5 defendants who went to trial were acquitted. So, yes, there is a two-tier justice system here. The left is given impunity to take these radical actions, while you on the right will be punished for them. And so people on the right go, and that's why we can't do anything. It's too risky. Like, but do you not understand? One, if you actually believe things are that bad, if you see what I've been showing you, you understand that, oh, hey, if we resist, we go to jail. Like, if you're understanding that the situation is that dire, doesn't that motivate you more to fight back? You want to allow it to keep getting worse, because then once you're at the point of England where if you even comment on something like this, you're going to. You think that's when everyone's going to stand up? After you have allowed your enemy to entrench themselves even further, gain even more power and control? Fight back now or die. You fight now or you die. And this is who you're fighting against, by the way. These are incredibly unserious people. They are the weakest, baggiest of soy boys and retarded fat white women. Watch this video and you tell me, like, do you really think it'd be that hard to smack some reality into these people? This is who you're cowering from? Let's take a look. Incredibly unserious people. And this is who we are allowing to dominate our society. This is who we're afraid to confront. This is who needs to be stopped in order to prevent the future that I am showing you and describing to you. And this is who we're refusing to confront. Okay. Okay. This one's just a little fun. Just a little fun. This is who we're cowering from. Okay. But yeah, no, like the leftists are perfectly comfortable expressing their views like this, enacting their views like this, pushing the world towards where this is a reality. And yet everyone on the right, no, how dare you say we need to bully these people? How dare you say we need to confront these people? What are you, some kind of fucking extremist terrorist? You fed? You think we should confront these demons? What the fuck has happened in this country? This, I actually understand. This makes sense. This is a brainwashed retard. But to all the people who like actually have a sense of morality, who actually like want a world that functions, how have you allowed yourself to become so incredibly cucked and pathetic? How are you not out on the streets right now seeking people like this out to fucking put the fear of God in them? How are you still refusing to take any action or any accountability and going, oh, we need the government to save us? The government who, like I showed you in England, who's like actively the driving force behind the shit that's happening. Same thing here, by the way. People just somehow haven't fully realized it yet, but it's no one is saving you except for yourself. If you don't do it, then it doesn't happen. Democrat Congressman Steve Cohen says we need to let's listen to this one too. This one's pretty fucking crazy. One more time. We already have illegal immigrant police officers. They want more. They want it to be fully, either people who are fully on their side or actual illegal invaders, third world retards to take down the worst of the worst, to destroy and dismantle the worst of the worst, which is the native born American citizens. This is our government. They're the ones that are going to save us, right? Oh God, dude. You think the government's gonna save you? You fucking retard. I'm gonna skip to the end. I've got a shitload of tabs left. I can't. It's already been an hour, and I'm gonna skip to the end here. Um, you know, Along with the BAFTA stuff, some remarkable Black fragility here. Uh, Professor at Virginia Tech, a group of white juveniles stopped trucks on the street, played loud music he believed was racist, and threw ice blocks onto his property. What a horrific hate crime. What a horrific hate crime. He reported this horrific hate crime, and police interviewed those who involved. Police actually tracked these people down, right? He was reported a hate crime, so they actually tracked these people down. Meanwhile, you get raped, and we're not doing anything or whatever. But they interviewed those who involved and a witness. They tracked down a witness too, third party. Found no evidence the incident was racially motivated or targeted the professor. Authorities said the juveniles were at a nearby gathering and were simply trying to clear snow and ice from a truck bed before leaving. Yeah, they want you dead. They're fucking retarded. They truly hate white people, and it's like it's hard to comprehend their hatred and their victim complex is like so incomprehensible because it's so utterly retarded. But the average white person is equivalent to the top 20% of black people. And the average black person is literally retarded. So it's like when you can't fathom how their brain works, it's because their brain doesn't work and they're literally retarded. Um, Same with these third world invaders that are coming in. Um, Here, let's watch this for a second. So yeah, you know, kind of sums up the things I've been talking about. No one wants to do anything. The right, God forbid we protest an injustice. God forbid we harass these judges who are releasing these nigger criminals back on the street after committing murder. God forbid we do anything. God forbid we fight for what's right. And unlike what he said, maybe one day you'll experience it too. The direction and speed we are heading, it is an absolute guarantee that you will experience it, and you'll experience much worse, and everyone will experience much worse. And the suffering, the destruction of Western nations, the extermination and extinction of the white race, are those things that you want to witness, that you want to experience firsthand? Or maybe, just maybe, it's finally time to stand the fuck up and stop being such a pathetic, cowardly pussy. And I'm gonna show a couple more clips and then we'll be done. But I want to emphasize that, like, this dichotomy that the right is stuck in of, I either have to do nothing or I have to commit mass murder. Like, there's no in between. That's fucking retarded. I'm not even telling you to go out here and commit mass murder. I'm telling you to do something. And we'll get into that in a bit, but like, get out of this idea that it's black and white. You either do nothing or you just mass murder, right? Look at how the leftists are. They are willing to do anything and everything, small, medium, or large, in order to harm their enemies and disenfranchise their enemies and punish their enemies. If they're HR at a job and they go, oh, I think this guy might support Trump, I'm not going to hire him. I'm going to blacklist him, right? That's not mass murder, and it's not nothing. There's a literal infinite range of things in between those two things. You shouldn't be doing either of those two things, but you should be doing all of the stuff in the middle. You need to understand that your enemies want you dead, and they will do anything in their power to move the needle towards you being dead. And you need to adopt that same attitude and do it real fucking quick. Let's get back to this. Just a couple quick last things. Double tab. I showed this video a few weeks ago, and I don't think I fully explained the significance of it. So I want to come back to this and come back to the idea of power dynamics, of people being sheep, and how significant and important stuff like this is, the effect and the impact that stuff like this has on our society. It is not to be laughed at. It is not some small thing. This is the key and the core of everything. So let's take a watch and then let's discuss it. Right. So this is like in a high school, obviously. Maybe a college, I don't know, but like, it looks like a high school kids. And it's just some retarded dumb cunt with purple hair, just kind of, like openly mocking this kid for wearing a Charlie Kirk hoodie. What's the big deal? Right? Why is this the most important thing? Because again, power dynamics are what people understand. Power dynamics are what determines the fate of this world. And something like that, right? So this kid wears a Charlie Kirk shirt. He gets openly mocked by a weaker female. She feels comfortable openly mocking him to his face. No one around steps up and says anything and defends him. He can't even really defend himself. He just kind of laughs it off. What effect do you think that has on those people that are there witnessing that? the kid who's you think he's more or less likely to wear that shirt? I mean, there's a very, very, very small portion of people who would dig in their heels and be like, oh, yeah. And I think most people think they're a part of that very small portion of people where they're like, I would just wear it even more. Right. And maybe for a brief time, he actually would. Maybe that motivation, he wears it the next day or whatever. But no, it has a chilling effect. He doesn't wear his hoodie. The other people who saw that happen, who maybe would have worn something like that, they're not going to wear it. They see that, oh, it's perfectly acceptable and normal for anyone, a literal weaker, retarded female, to harass this stronger male. And they know she faces no threat of consequence or retaliation because this is what's normal. This is what society is. This is what's accepted. Those types of little interactions have so much more impact than the vast majority of people realize. And so when I tell you, go bully these fucks, these freaks, these demons, go confront them, it is those types of things that are absolutely essential and necessary. Those little interactions, but in reverse, if you want to turn this country around. You don't go from, hey, everybody keep your head down, everybody keep your mouth shut, everyone, hide your political affiliation and your beliefs. Don't talk about them with your family at Thanksgiving even. You don't go from that to then, dominating the power dynamics, getting what you want, taking back control. It's the exact opposite. You have to start normalizing right-wing beliefs. And you do that by dominating the power dynamics. And you dominate the power dynamics with little interactions like this. You fearlessly go up to those fucking freaks, those fucking demons, and you do not flinch while you mock them and you humiliate them and you confront them. And when they turn violent towards you, because that's all these dysgenic, retarded freaks understand, you get more violent with them. You defend yourself as brutally as you possibly can within the confines of the law, and you take back control of those power dynamics, and you shift the country back, right? Think about that video of that retarded Foyd marching in the streets from Palestine to Mexico. Whoa! Right? Like, are you really telling me you're afraid to confront that? Are you really telling me you couldn't best that in a battle of humiliation and mockery? You couldn't stand against that unflinching? You just go, what a fucking pathetic little bitch you are. Those soy boys, that's what you're afraid of? You're going to allow the weakest, whiniest, faggiest amongst us to dominate power dynamics and the direction of this country? And you're going to sit back and do nothing? You're not going to fight these injustices, like children being raped and families being murdered, and then the murderers and the rapists getting let off scot-free? You're not going to protest that? You're not going to hang outside that judge's house and harass them? You're going to just, post impotently online a little bit and then go back to work, keep your head down, keep your job? That's who you want to be? Okay. And to end things on a lighter note, to give you a little white pill here, last clip, and then the stream's over. This is fun. This is something that anyone can do. This is the type of shit that people need to do. It's humorous. It's fun. If you want to have fun with it, have fun with it. If you're just so fucking filled with rage and hatred, which you should be, that you just want to fucking, go out there real aggressive, that's good too. Do that. But like, if that's too much for you, have some fun with it. Are you too much of a fucking pussy to have some fun with it? Let's watch this kid have some fun with it. This is a great clip. just a quick little bit of fun there. And you see how, they tried to silence him and he didn't flinch. He didn't go, oh no, do I have to get out of here? Do I have to shut up? No, he went, no, fuck you, reclaiming my time. I'm going to keep talking, right? You can't ever be bitched out. You can't ever be punked out. You have to fucking stand your ground. You have to start getting comfortable with confrontation. This is why I recommended the ridiculous, the stupid, the silly, recommendation of saying, argue with random strangers about how Vanilla Ice is better than M&M. Get comfortable with conflict. Get comfortable with confrontation. Get into the world. Do something. For the love of God, do something. Peace out, fellas.